Hi, welcome to the Coaching Game. I'm Laurie Lawson, and tonight I have one of my favorite all-time guests, Lena Beck Rorvig.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you. And Lena pointed out that she's been here 5 times, and it's like every time she comes, I learn something new, and I usually quote her for the rest of the time until she comes back again. So I can't wait to see what's going to happen this time.
Thank you.
But Lena is the founder of Beck Global Consulting, and also a whole new game that she's into that we're going to find out about called Art, Mind, Body. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Art, Mind, Body. We're going to find out what that is. But we had decided, well, what should we talk about? Because she's really out there in the international world learning things that are going on and with the newest trends. And she came up with an idea about intuition and leadership, which I went, whoa, what is that? So that's what we're gonna kind of start off with and see what that is, because she's out there coaching leaders with all kinds of expertise and different backgrounds and things. So tell me, what made you come up with this topic, first of all?
The reason why I came up with this topic is because on the retreat at Art, Mind, Body, we have tools on how to tap into your intuition. So it's all about to find out and get tools on how you can use your intuition on a conscious level to make better decisions. And when I coach leaders, a lot of them say, and if there's been research about CEOs, that how do they make decisions, and a lot of them say, oh, it's my gut feeling. I go with my gut feeling. And that sounds really nice, that some have a gut feeling and others might not, or some use their intuition. But what is intuition actually? And can we actually tap into it on a more conscious level so we can use it as it's working with us and not against us? Because of course there is always a flip side. Gut feeling is not always right. And we know that the human race tend to be overly optimistic. So sometimes we think we are more right than we are. So I think intuition and leadership together, both on a professional level, also leadership on your personal leadership side, is a very interesting topic that we can see is really taking off right now, and I think we can use it for improving the way we make decisions in life.
Wow, anything that would help that. All right, so you mentioned it first. So when we go with, tell us what Art, Mind, Body is, because you mentioned a retreat, which sounds so nice.
Yes.
And intuition was the topic, or it came up as a?
It was kind of a mix, because Emil Yander, that is I'm doing the retreats with, she has actually 20 years ago written a white paper on intuition before it was really that
before
hot.
it was super cool.
And we were talking, we're both very interested in art, and we both use art as a recreational tool for us. And then of course we have the whole mind-body coaching part. So we think, how can we blend that? And then we started talking about intuition. I was very intrigued and said, this is actually really what it should be all about. So art is a way to tap in, quiet your mind, and then tap into your deeper subconscious. And the mind and the body, we do meditation, we do hikes in nature, we do yoga, and of course we have a lot of fun. But this is all about how to get these tools, so when you come back from the retreat, you have some ideas and you can start making a plan, and you're really connected with your inner self and your intuition.
I'm all for it. Why do you think, is the retreat necessary? Do you think, I mean, can we do this? Can we do this now, or is it better to, sort of get into nature and get into art and get into all those cool things?
To tap into your intuition, you need to quiet your active brain. You need to slow down. So take a walk, or as we talked about, wash the dishes. But do something. And art is just, it doesn't. You don't have to. It could be painting, that like we do it on the retreat. We have different tools. That is a fun way of painting. It doesn't have to be like a beautiful Michelangelo piece, but just different tools so you quiet your mind. But it could also be other things that you would like to do, knitting or embroidery. You can do all kinds of stuff where you actually get out of your head and into your body. And as I say, a lot of the best ideas have been a lot of the best invention has been invented during you have a shower. And that's of course because during the shower we are focused on our body, the hot water, and we then give the brain a break.
Ah, okay. Well, the dishwashing comes from, I was telling Lena, I have two activities where I don't use my brain. I mean, it's just automatic, and I can go off into whatever insanity I'd like to do. And one is washing dishes, and the other is doing embroidery. And I think that's what you're saying. And I've heard so many people say, oh, I was in the shower, and I created a song, or I thought about, you know, this is what's going on. So on the retreat, how is it an all-day retreat, an all-week retreat?
It's a all-week retreat.
Whoa, that's a lot of intuition.
Yeah, it's a lot of intuition. No, but it's of course also a way to get away from your daily life and the busy life, and step back and say, so what is the difference between a retreat and a vacation? And on a retreat, you actually learn something new, you get some tools, you have some activities, so you have reached that goal you actually have from the retreat. So if you just want to relax and have some sun, go on a vacation. But if you actually think, oh, I need to change some things in my life, or I need to improve my leadership skills, or I need to do different things, then a retreat is perfect.
Oh, thank you for that distinction, because I would think, well, I'm going on vacation in March, so why can't I intuition then?
Yeah. But you can, but then read a little about it beforehand, and then start thinking about it on your vacation.
It's a shopping vacation, so I won't be intuiting.
What is it called? Retail therapy.
Yes, exactly.
Yes,
So I love that. So is this an everyday thing that you do? When do you? Well, every day, every week thing. How often do you do these retreats?
We do them 3 times a year. So we have one coming up that's in April 2020, and then we have one in the fall in southern France. And then we're planning one. We're not really sure about the last location. We're looking at Mexico, but it could also be another place. So we have a 3rd one coming up as well. Yeah.
Okay, now if they go on the second website that's down there, artmindbody.net, they're going to find all that information and how they can sign up. Yay! and they're all for 1 week?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. And you're saying that your partner came up with the idea of combining art with, because we usually hear mind, body, and spirit. Is that what we hear?
Yes. We actually came up with the art, mind, body together. She has been the one that 20 years ago started with intuition.
The paper,
so but we came up with it because we both have a passion about art.
Okay.
You need something you can of course do meditation and yoga, but we need also something new, and we wanted to combine our passion with the retreats.
I love that. And how long has this been going on?
A year.
A year? Yeah. Okay, so you're fledgling, but what a great idea.
Yeah.
All right, so we have that on, and we'll remind you about the retreats before we go off the air here, just in case you're interested. I know I am, because the next one's in Bali. But anyway, so what is intuition? What are we talking about?
What is intuition? Intuition, sometimes we call it a gut feeling. So what is intuition? And it's actually already in 1977, a guy called Bruce Henderson from Boston Consulting Group came up with a definition that I really like personally. He said that intuition is really the subconscious integration of all the experiences, conditioning, and knowledge, including we have had in our lifetime, including what I think is really important here, the cultural and emotional bias we have.
That's interesting.
Yeah. So it's just not intuition is always right. We have to know ourselves. It's very important to know yourself if you want to use your intuition on a conscious level, but you also have to know your stuff. You have to know your business. So you have to have some knowledge to build your intuition on.
Okay. Bias is a whole different game that you don't think of when you talk intuition, but it's the baggage you carry with you for sure, and you may not be aware you're carrying a baggage, but you are. So, can you give us an example where? Well, give us an example of knowledge and experience, and that might. Or I can do that, but if you can't, knowledge and experience, where you can say, okay, I'm going to use all this and I'm going with my intuition, as opposed to statistical data and reports and all that jazz.
So going back to the leadership theme, if you take in a professional setting, when the CEOs say that I use my gut feeling, it's not just they take it out of the blue. They have many years of experience. They might be senior. So they have all that knowledge and experience, and they've seen it all. And a good CEO will, of course, follow the trends in the market and get all inputs about what is happening. So she has all the data.
Right.
She has all the data. The CEO has all the data and the experience and the knowledge. And then combining with that gut feeling, then intuition, if we are going to do something new, if we're going into a new market, how do we combine that? And that is where you really use your intuition. You build it on the facts and the experience and the knowledge, and then you pick up the trends in the market.
Do you feel that it's a conscious process, or is it more a coming together of everything and sort of an unconscious, it's like, oh, this just feels right?
I think it's Bruce Henderson calls it subconscious, so yeah, I think it's a conscious thing, but I think it's an untapped resource that we can actually make much more conscious, and that's what's really triggering me. Yeah, and that's what's triggering me, because we know as coaches we actually use our intuition a lot when we coach.
Yes.
Because we have experience. You cannot. Someone who has never coached before might be good at asking questions and have a natural ability to coach, but if you really want to be a very good coach, of course you need a lot of experience, a lot of hours coaching, so you have a knowledge and experience in asking the right questions, and you pick up, then you have like you can say social intuition. You kind of know this person is saying this, so this reminds me of something I've heard before, so I might have to ask 2 or 3 different questions to actually pick up something new. And I think that consciousness about your intuition can even make you an even better leader or an even better coach.
Oh, I agree, because I do some mentor coaching, and my mentees will say, oh, I forgot I was coaching, and I had such a good time, and it's like, I said, that's when you know you've become a coach.
You're in the flow.
Because you're not, oh, the next question should be, and did I say that right? You're into like, okay, this is how it is. So that's when you use your, and it never occurred to me that might be intuition, but it is. It's just like, oh, this is the next question, and I'm following what she says. So are you telling me everybody has intuition?
Honestly, I don't know if everyone has it.
Fingers crossed.
Yes, fingers crossed. But I think we all have a gut feeling about something. And I think some people, they just take the leap of faith with I'm just going for that. And I would say there's a 50-50 chance that it will go well. And then others, they are hung up on the data and facts, and they never go anywhere because they're so focused on all the data and facts. But I think if you combine the two, I think that's where the power lies.
You made me think of like when people go, if I can just lose 10 pounds, I'm going after that new job. Or if I can just lose, or I can just win the lotto, I'm there. And it's like, you know that you're never. Well, you might win lotto and you might lose 10 pounds. I'm still trying, but to base it on the data is just inhibiting. It's like holding you back, right? Yeah. Whereas intuition kind of lets you soar if you do it right, and if you do it wrong, you do it over again, right?
Yeah. But it's you can't. Let's say you want to go climbing, and then you say, no, I'm not going to learn anything about climbing. I just want to go as I am and use my intuition. It's probably you won't get that far. On the other hand, you can say, I want to learn about climbing, and then I start practicing. And if you are very, very experienced in climbing, then you will start to pick up maybe some things when you're climbing, saying we shouldn't go that way because intuitively you can make the decisions much quicker, and you don't know why you can make that decision so quickly, but of course it's based on all your knowledge and experience and that gut feeling about what is going to happen here. Yeah. And that's the same in business, and that's the same in your private life.
Well, I was telling Lena, one of my favorite sayings is every dream needs an Excel sheet, which means, and I think I got that from the creator of Points of View, so I stole it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's a great saying, I think. It definitely deserves going around.
And that's it. It's like you can intuit stuff, but then you've got to have a little something to back it up, or unless you're very, very lucky. So and that doesn't happen all the time.
Luck is a good thing, and I think it's wonderful to be lucky. But we also, I think, there has been some studies about people who feel lucky. They actually also, there's some other elements in that, preration and research and a lot of other things.
What is it?
Hard work as well. Hard work is also a good thing,
right? The quote on the Points of View game is like, opportunity dances with those who are already on the dance floor. So, you can't say, oh,
that's a good one,
I'm going to sit home. That was by Jackson Brown. But you can't say, I'm going to sit home. Someone's going to knock on the door and we're going to dance. That's not going to happen, probably.
It's not going to happen.
And if it does, you should maybe be a little worried. So what are the benefits of of having intuition? How does that make your life better?
You can make decisions quicker if you are aware of your intuition and know how to use it. But you can also, as the leader, you can teach others to develop their intuition. So let's say you are an experienced leader and you have your team, and they are not as experienced as you, or they might have other experience that you don't have, but you can see, you kind of know. So if they have a problem, instead of just giving them the answer, you can then start asking them the right question, and they can start developing their intuition and make that problem solving together with their knowledge and facts, and then what are the patterns in this, and then they can start making quicker decisions.
You know what I just did? When you said that, I went, as soon as I do Lena's retreat, I'm going to do that. And it's like, wait, we just had a whole conversation about that. No. No. My intuition is I should get started now and talk to Lena about how to get it better. But okay. So when you say, so you say we don't have the knowledge, or you and I don't have the knowledge of whether everybody has intuition, but you are a firm believer that intuition can be enhanced?
Yes, I am a firm believer of that, because it's not only just something that comes out of the blue. If it just came out of the blue, we wouldn't know how to enhance it, right? We actually know that if you follow a certain pattern about collecting data and you are experienced in the field, the problem is complex. If it's a very simple problem, you don't have to tap into your intuition, you know how to solve it. But if it's a complex problem, then you can say, okay, to solve this, I need to step away from it, for instance. That could be one tool. You step away from it, or you instantly know you don't have enough data, so you need to collect more. On the other hand, you might be, you say, we only have a certain amount of time, this is urgent. So what you do, you have to then pull into your intuition and say, okay, what way do we have to go, so you are not blinded in the light and don't go anywhere.
What feels right.
And I think also you can use it from on all levels in the organization, and also on the board level as well. We have these amazing stories where the boards didn't react, and suddenly a new technology have overrun the whole company, and they have to close down.
We have so many of that.
And I'm quite sure there was a few who has been sitting on that board and their intuition say we have to do something, but they didn't. And that is where, coming back to that's where the bias come in. Because then that's where we, instead of listening to our intuition and say we have to do something, the bias say, no, we are the best, or we are the strongest, or half of the board say that we don't have to do anything, and you think, okay, then I'm not listening to my intuition, I'll just go with what they say. So we really have to also look at the whole bias thing to make sure our intuition is telling us the right thing.
It's interesting because you're right. I mean, there's Toys R Us, and there's Sears, and there's
Kodak,
all these places that just aren't here anymore that we grew up with. It's like, what? So intuition it helps you. It helps you think in different modalities, rather, right? It's like, okay, this is how it's always been done, and we were successful. We were so successful in 2015. Now it's 2020, and we seem to be slipping back a little. So, what does your gut say? Is that how?
Yes.
That what you and do you have to sell this idea to leaders, or do they kind of know that there's a little spidey sense that goes?
It all depends.
Not right.
You have the ones that know we only base everything on facts and data, but we know that great inventions, where do they come from? Of course, it comes from people who have a lot of knowledge and skills, and based on that, suddenly they get an idea, right?
Yeah.
And we can all have the same data. So why do you get an idea looking at the set of data, and I look at on exactly the same set of data, and I don't get the idea, right?
Yeah.
So that is where that intuition comes in. I think maybe we should look more into this. I have this idea. Let's look into it.
Let's leap. Let's take a little leap of faith or a leap of intuition.
Yeah.
So you mentioned biases. When you say that, it's like, oh, we don't want that. We're not biased.
No, we're not biased at all.
No. What do you mean?
I mean that we all are unconsciously biased. Everybody who has a brain is biased, and that's also what I said in the beginning. We have to know ourselves to really tap into our intuition, because if we don't know ourselves and our own cultural background and our own bias, then we can be skewed, right? We can suddenly think, we can't see that that what we think is intuition is actually a bias instead, right? So.
Oh, okay. Wow, that's interesting. Yeah. Oh, all right. So if we automatically go, oh no, my intuition is telling me no, it could actually be because we don't like people with green hair.
Yes.
You know, it's like, oh no, this could never be someone I'm.
And you have it with the whole gender equality thing, where people say, no, my gut feelings told me that the man would be better for that position.
Always.
But when you look at the facts, it's not true, and that's where the bias kick in. And maybe you should not listen to your intuition there. You should actually study the facts a little bit more, and then where actually the other person is better.
That's so interesting. Yeah, a movie called A Time to Kill, which was based on racial bias, and then I remember at the end the lawyer was saying, and imagine this happened and this happened and happened to a small black child, and he said, and then think of her white, and the guy got let off because it was like, wait a minute,
exactly,
because we don't even know it's there until someone points it out. Do you point it out gently?
I think as a coach you have to point it out. Of course, the skill is to point it out in a non-threatening way, and maybe the person realize it themselves when you ask them the different questions and maybe give some examples. So that is the trick so they realize it, right, as a coach.
Yeah. How true is that? Whatever question you got to do to prick the content.
No, but you have to, because otherwise you can't. If you don't look at your own bias, then you cannot move forward. Then that will be a roadblock in your life forever. Right. So that is why it's so important that we look at our own biases. And if you're interested in personal development, you really have to look into your own biases.
Yeah, and I think that requires constant questioning. Why am I making this decision? Or why did I say that? Or why do I think that? You know, it's like, I was raised down south. I came up with a whole bunch of different ideas than people in New York City. So it's like, oh, which one do I want to go with, you know? And it's like, so Is intuition the same as instinct?
Instinct is more based on fear, where when you know intuition, that's when it feels really good. You probably, when you finally have taken a decision, you have that feeling, you're light, you're happy, you can feel it in your body. Instinct is often based on fear. That's when we withdraw or run.
And we just don't move.
Yeah, it's like a more basic instinct that we've, fleeing or hiding or not doing anything, just what is the famous one, the famous one, don't see, don't hear, right?
Hear no evil, see no evil, all that jazz, all that jazz.
Yes.
Okay, so intuition, what happens, and how often do you think it happens that when we follow our intuition, it's like, whoa, that's not right? Is that our intuition telling us, whoa, you're on the wrong path?
I would say it depends really how well you've done your homework. Because
this is so amazing, because I'm thinking intuition is like, bing, answer is here. And you're saying, oh no, it's not that easy.
It's not that easy. And it's not to make it really dry and but we all, human beings, we're looking for the quick fix, the quick solution.
Yes.
And I think there's not really, it's very seldom we are so lucky to have a quick fix or an easy solution that is 100% right. So I think with intuition, it's like any other tool, leadership tool or personal leadership tool we can use, is you have to do your homework and take it step by step.
Okay, so and if you're on the wrong path, and you can take a wrong turn.
Exactly, we all take a wrong turn now and then. But then, of course, you intuitively say, okay, maybe I did take a wrong turn. So let me take a step back.
Doesn't feel quite as good as when I made the decision.
Or maybe stop and then
reevaluate.
Maybe hire a coach and say, oh, can you help me to finding my way back or to the next step?
Yeah.
So you actually go through that process of really finding out what is it you want, where is it you want to go, and what do I need to have in order to actually reach that goal.
And actually, I'm making it definitive. Okay, you make this decision, that's it. You got to go on that path, and you don't. It's there are many roads and turns and twists and all that.
And I think that's fantastic with intuition. You use it for life. With everything. It's not like just using for one thing, you can use it for everything, right?
And if you enhance it and become more aware of it and bring it to the forefront, Wow,
Yeah.
you know, you can just keep using
Yeah.
it and using
Yeah.
it. So that's
Yeah.
really cool. So with intuition, do you feel that that is a 2020 tool? I mean, I feel that. I don't know why everybody thinks 2020 has this magic thing. 2020 vision, 2020
Yes.
hindsight. You know, we're really going to do it. This
Yeah.
is in this decade. Do you? Have people been doing this all along, or is it just coming to?
It's really starting now. We can see.
Right,
I think we're a little bit on the forefront with intuition, but I think it's going to take off. Columbia have a course for executives about intuition. Quantitative intuition.
Wild.
We see Stanford now researching in mind-body how that work together. So I think we're just starting to be curious about what is actually happening. How can we use our amazing brain in an even better way?
Yeah.
And all that data, artificial intelligence, everything, it's just running so fast. And I think this is also a way for us to be more in control of our own destiny and not let an algorithm decide our life.
It's interesting, and when you said that, I'm thinking we are so inundated with data and so inundated with sensory that maybe I love the idea of the retreat because it's like, wait, let me slow down and see what's inside me.
Yes.
What do I have to offer out there? And you know, instead of being bombarded and trying to fit it all into me. So I like that idea. Tell us more about the retreat.
But the good thing about being on a retreat also is that you really get to think about yourself and all about what you want. And there's no one is coming to, this is not about fixing anyone. This is absolutely really important for me. You don't have to be good at yoga or good at painting or good at meditating or good at walking or hiking or anything. This is about really what you want to get out of that retreat. Where are you heading? And get some peace and quiet and just a different environment and relax so you can really give your brain a little bit of a pause, and then suddenly you can tap into what else is in there instead of that daily task all the time. Yeah.
What a great idea, and that's facilitated by you and your partner.
Yes,
and is it just a lot of free time, or there is
no? There is free
like
time.
That idea.
There is free time, of course, because you need that free time to really just relax. But we have different exercises that you go through, and we have a program. So one day is dedicated to the art thing, where we start with the whole intuition and art, and that's where we start. We have one day dedicated to nature and meditation. We have one day dedicated to what is happening in your body, and start listening to your body, because our body is so clever that it sends us a lot of signals. And it's not about waiting until you're sick, but it's you can just feel that you get a little bit of an uncomfortable feeling in your body, and let's say you are in a position where you are a leader and you sit and you have a discussion with one of your colleagues, and you think this is something is off here. Then instead of ignoring it or taking an extra cup of coffee to try and suppress
or
it,
a pill,
then say, okay, actually now I know that we might have to wrap up, or you can say, you know, I would actually like to think about it. Instead of taking a decision, and you might be pressured, no, we need to take a decision today. And it might be the case, but a lot of times it could actually wait until tomorrow. I'm not talking about stalling things, but just saying, you know what, we just like to think about it for a day.
Check her website, because we are out of time, but check the website and find out more about this. Intrigue. Lena Beck Rorvig. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.